Hey everybody, and welcome to a new video on E.Stampley art. In today's video, I'm going to be using this 6-inch square wood panel to create some art. And I figured since Memorial Day is right around the corner, what better way to encapsulate that by doing a Captain America shield. So I'm not just going to paint the shield on there, that's a little too easy. I'm actually going to create the shape and color of the shield using some washi tape that I have. I have a bunch of washi tape around, and I figured what better way to use it than to create some artwork out of it. Once we get all of our washi tape in place, then I'll probably just varnish it down with a little bit of Modge Podge. And then lastly, of course, I found this nice 3D wooden star, which I'll paint white, and it'll be perfect to go right in the center of Cap's shield. So with all that being said, why don't we get started, shall we? First thing I do, obviously, is go through all of my different batches of washi tape and pick out the colors that I need: reds, blues, whites, and then I used black background washi tape for the background, which you'll see later. So that was the first thing I did, was just kind of sort through all of that to get all my colors and stuff together. So I used a template based off of the size of the wood panel, so the circles and stuff would fit, obviously, and they would be spaced out evenly the way they're supposed to. And so I'm just transferring those circles, that template, to the wooden panel. Checking to see if the star will fit correctly, and it does. So I figured it just made sense to do the washi tape pattern as a starburst, kind of going out. Since there's going to be a star in the very center of the piece, it just kind of made sense for it to radiate out from the center of that. And so I do each concentric circle that way. Obviously starting off with the blue section in the center here, just kind of building up with the pattern along, in the middle of that circle. And then of course going on to the next ring, which is a red section, and just, picking and choosing my washi tape and putting it, in place best way I know, and just trying to keep it kind of even and working the way around so it looks like it's a little bit cohesive. So I had started trying to put down some of the white background washi tape, but white washi tape tends to be a little bit transparent. So I peeled off what I had put on and then did a wash of white acrylic paint in that particular ring, just so the white will really stand out. Because if I had left it the wood panel color, it really wouldn't have popped, I think, as much. So I'm using an Xacto blade to cut the washi tape because it is kind of going around corners, and so you have to trim it down. Wood panel was really, really good to be able to do that with, because I think if I'd used like a canvas piece and trying to cut it with the washi tape, I would have cut through the canvas. But since it is a wood panel, you can kind of dig into the groove and it'll be fine. And so I'm on the last red circle on the outside, and since the shield, I have it kind of sort of bleeding off of the edge. That's the kind of look I wanted. I didn't want it to be completely centered. I just felt it looked better with it kind of bleeding off of the four edges a tad bit. So some of that washi tape kind of overlaps and goes around to the edge. And then obviously there's some empty spaces around it. I'm doing a circle shape on a square piece. So there's obviously going to be some dead space around it, and I didn't want to leave it just the wood panel color. So I pulled some of my black background washi tape to, you know, kind of fill in that space. And this was probably a little bit more difficult part because I have to trim off the edges and make sure that's good, and then put a border kind of along the outer edge of the wood panel, because I wanted pretty much all the piece that you would see from all the angles would be covered. To be honest, this was actually a little bit more time consuming and difficult of a piece than I actually thought it was going to be. But I really enjoyed the process, and I would definitely do this again. It's just, you know, trying to carefully cut the washi tape, and it likes to move because it's not the most tacky substance. So you kind of have to hold it down while you're trying to cut it. And sometimes it likes to move. But yeah, I really liked how the piece turned out, and it was a really challenging piece to work on, but yeah, I would definitely do it again. So now I'm starting to work on the star. It is a wood piece, so it needed a little bit of sanding before I started painting on it, because it had a couple little, you know, stray barbs and stuff on the outside, probably from when they cut it out. So I had to sand that down a little bit. And I pulled out a little bit of gesso, since I am gonna paint over it, and covered it with that first, and then set it aside to dry. So I'm using some Modge Podge because it'll dry clear, to kind of coat and varnish the washi tape onto this wood panel, kind of hold it better together and hold it down. I'm using a matte because, I don't know, I didn't want it to be too glossy, so I'm using the matte Modge Podge to cover it with a foam brush. Had to make sure I was really careful to not, you know, pull up any of the washi tape while I was trying to brush that on, but it turned out really well. So while the Modge Podge is drying, my little star is dry enough that I can go ahead and start painting it. I mixed a little bit of white acrylic paint with kind of like a pearlized medium and painted the star. I painted it a couple of times just so it would really be a bright white star. So I used super glue to attach the wooden star to the wood panel. I didn't want to use hot glue, which I just felt usually hot glue is better if you're using a porous surface. And since putting the washi tape on here, it kind of loses some of that. So I figured the super glue will definitely hold on the star on the piece better than hot glue would have. And here we go, the final product. I have to say, I am really pleased with how this turned out. It actually took longer than I think I thought it was going to take to create it, but I'm really satisfied with the results. I wasn't, in my head, I was thinking about what I was going to do, but I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to turn out, but I think it turned out pretty well. And I love that little 3D star poking out there, giving a little bit dimension. Yeah, so there you go. It's something fun and additional you can do with your washi tape. If you've got a bunch of washi tape lying around, use it. I mean, use it to make some art with. It's kind of like a washi tape quilt. What I really like is, I mean, you can see like all the texture and different types of washi tapes that I was using, all kinds of different ones. But yeah, it really turned out really well. Love some of the sparkle on some of the gold and silver ones that have the little foil on it. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a nice thumbs up down below. Feel free to leave any comments. I do read all of my comments and I always appreciate them. Thank you so much. And of course, if you hit the notification bell or the red subscribe button somewhere down here, it'll let you know about new videos when they have come out on the channel. And if you want to follow more of my artistic journey, you can always do so on Instagram or Twitter at E.Stampley Art. As well as feel free to go to my Etsy store, estampleyart.etsy.com, and you can shop some of my art prints as well as some other items I have on there for sale. As always, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Have a happy Memorial Day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!